Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I'm going to share with you how you can make this sunburst technique here. The sunburst technique looks like rays of sunbeams kind of heading off from your focal point. To replicate this size, what you're going to need are 4 pieces of designer paper. This happens to be in the 2013 catalog called Sweater Weather, and it's cut at 1.5 by 4, and then I have cut it diagonally from corner to corner, and I've done that on all 4 of those ahead of time. We also need a scrap of cardstock. This is cut at 2.5 by 5. So in order to get started, what we want to do is take our glue stick and cover our scrap piece of cardstock from end to end. We want to make sure that we get everything adhered on it, and I like using the glue stick because it covers it fast and it's not as, it's an inexpensive way of getting a large surface covered. Okay, so we have that. And what I did, I thought I'd show a little different look than the original template by showing how it would look if you would go around and ink around the edges. And I've done that ahead of time as well. Alrighty, so in order to start our starburst, what we want to do is take our diagonally cut rectangles, and we're going to flip them so that all of the ends come to the point. So you can just kind of create your pattern, and you want to have, again, the point towards the bottom. And when you're all done, you're going to end up with 8 of these little wedge pieces here. You can kind of play around with the patterns and how you like it. And I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to get mine all lined up and all so that they have ink around them. All right, so I have all of my 8 pieces lined up the way that I'd like. And I like starting in the center. So I'm going to take the center ones and I'm going to line those up. And when we do this, what we want to do is we're going to put our wedge strips, our little triangle wedges, we're going to make it so that it runs off of our scrap piece of cardstock, meaning I want some at the bottom and some at the top, and we're going to come in and trim off the excess. But once we have our pattern, we just want to make sure that our our base is completely covered from edge to edge. Okay, we'll kind of come in here on this side, get a few of those, and just kind of keep working it around. You can move these up or down in order to get coverage. And let's see, we'll do one more over here, and one more on this side. Okay, and then take our bone folder and make sure we have a nice burnish, and make sure all of that glue is down nice and good. So we have this fun little fan look here, and we're going to flip it upside down and trim off all of this excess. So just with your paper snips or your craft scissors, we're going to come in here and follow the edge of our scrap piece of paper that we used as basically a place that we can build our little sunburst onto. And we'll just keep trimming. Okay, so now I've trimmed off all around. Look how cute that is! So here's a little bit of compare and contrast on the differences for when, if you'd want to ink around the edges to really highlight it. Now I want to come back with my ink, and I want to go ahead and finish adding ink to the outside of it too. I want all of it to be, oops, get that cut a little straighter here. So I'm taking my sponge dauber and I'm using chocolate chip ink and going around all of the edges of this rectangle and just kind of keep with the, the highlighting with the ink around it. Next, we just take a standard card base cut at 8.5 by 5.5 folded in half, and we can put down our layering piece of our Sunburst. And this is another piece of the designer paper in that same pack, and this is cut at 5.5 by 1/2 inch, and it kind of acts as an anchor and a transition piece. But what I wanted to do on this card is kind of do maybe a step up from the basic. I've gone ahead and I've embossed using the herringbone embossing folder. And let's see here. I think I'm going to get some Tombow on the edge here to do our layering this time around. And I'm going to put enough of the adhesive on it to get a nice coverage here. There we go. I've got a nice blob there that I'm going to try to avoid. So I've got it on the back here. And again, just for a different look, we're going to change the orientation so that you can see that you can play around with all sorts of different looks with your when you do your Sunburst technique. I'm still going to use a piece of designer paper, only of course this time I'm changing up the orientation. And we'll get that on there. So amazing how just a little bit of a change up can really change the look of it. All right, for the sentiment here, I've stamped with a piece of scrap crushed curry with the chocolate chip using the Tags for You stamp set. It does come with a coordinating punch. It's the bracket punch. And if you purchase the stamp set and the bracket punch together, it is a bundle price. You can save 15%. Okay, we'll get that. And this time I used the sky blue and used the modern label punch. And again, embossed it with the herringbone. And we're going to add another element into it on our step up card. And we're going to take the Autumn Accents Big Shot die, and I've used the crushed curry, tangerine tango, and used a combination of soft suede and chocolate chip to create some more embellishments for our Happy Thanksgiving card. Okay, so I think first what we're going to do is using some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll put one on the back side here of our sentiment, Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll get that layered. And I want to go ahead and start tucking some of our leaves behind it. And I'll finish off the accent with a little acorn. I'll get that put together and show you the finished look. So here's our finished card. You might call it a step-up card. This would definitely be a clean and simple card, and then you can keep going with embellishments and such. Definitely embossing and other die cutting add to the card. So I hope you enjoyed learning the Sunburst technique and you give it a try on some of your upcoming projects. Happy crafting! Bye-bye!